Thanks for tuning in to the Basketball Blokes podcast with Benny, Banksy and Boydie, part of the Blokes Podcast Network, which is a place where mates create. Visit the website at www.blokespodcast.com for more information.
G'day listeners, you're back with Benny, Banksy and Boydie, the Basketball Blokes, dribbling all things Aussie hoops and NBL fantasy. And this is the review show, the round 2 review show. What do we got first?
Weak side, strong side, in the zone or fading away. It's time to face up and look over and back at the round just gone. This is the NBL Fantasy Post-Round Review. Oh, I must say that's got me in the mood, fellas. All right.
So, love when you're sitting there with your soundboard. Now it's your tablet just showing. If people can't understand at the moment, we're trying video conferencing out via Skype. So you'll be able to find us on YouTube or something like that. Benny, is that right? Maybe?
Potentially. We'll see how shiny my head looks at the end of this, and then we'll make the decision.
if Banksy's happy with his appearance in his dark-coloured cap, we'll be see how we go.
Let's roll. So first things first, it is the pun down. Now, I explained this once. I'm not going to do this every week because I'm very happy with the response we've got. But just in case. Hey, integrated virtual assistant. How are you today? It's Benny here from the Basketball Blokes podcast. Are you able to let everyone know what a pun down is?
A pun down is a rundown with a pun.
Do you think Boydie and Banksy will be able to understand that?
Don't you have to be a pretty ordinary bloke not to know that?
Okay, fellas. So let's get cracking with the pun down. So
big response.
I'm going to start off, and the centre position is or has been, I guess, a area of contention this week. And the first one is Good Will Magnay, and I'm going to pair that up with a bit of Matthew Hodge off instead of Hodge on, obviously. So I'm guessing we're all spewing that we don't have Magnay because he looked awesome. Banksy.
And twice as many minutes as Hodgson as well in that second game. But what's the third one there, Benny? One that might be a bit more relevant to my team.
Oh, look, I'll let you talk about that in a sec because I want to get we're doing video, so I want to see if I can get a little impersonation because Matthew Hodgesoff was obviously off the court for a very long time. Now, we were sitting there watching him. I was watching him in disgust. And there was an incident. I went down to grab a refreshment, I believe, Boyd, and you were watching the game, and I believe there was a blood rule for Goodwill Magnay.
Goodwill Magnay, blood rule.
Tyrell Harrison come off. Can you do your best Hodgson impersonation for me?
I'll give it a go. Hang on, I might have to put my mic down for a second. All I got. I'm not an actor, obviously.
Now, just in case we don't use this video, can you please explain what you just did?
So, Hodgson was sitting next to Kadee, who was also on the bench at the time, and just the look that he sort of put his hands out and was kind of like, one eye on, something along those lines anyway. I think it was, he was just chatting to Kadee. They were sitting down the pretty far end of the bench from where the coaches sit, so he was obviously not within earshot, but yeah, I don't think he looked happy.
Yeah, and I got that impression as well. But I was extra spewing because at that stage I was choosing out of Hodgson and Josh, boom or bust.
Yes.
And he's such a boom or bust player. He decided that he'd go boom in the first game, Banksy. And then what happened to his nose in the second game?
Well, obviously, as a non-owner of Hodgson, I was feeling pretty confident watching that second game that I was going to gain some points on the competition owning Boone. I think Boone's only 10% owned and failed to register a score, I believe, in that second game with Timmy Conrad dishing out a bit of a broken nose there.
The people's elbows.
So his nose went bust is the correct answer. So obviously that's going to be something you're going to have to talk about in our preview show, Banksy. But let's move on to some of the pun downs that have been sent in. So I'll leave it to one of your fellas to start off with. Maybe you, Banksy, because you had him in your top 4 captains. There's one there sent in by Riley DT, which I was very impressed with.
I did, and I think it might have been scoffed at from one of you boys when I read out Sobe's name, but Riley's sent in at Riley DT, moved up from 57th to 25th this round. Didn't have Nathan as Sobe. Sorry, I'll correct that. Nathan as captain, but so be it.
So be it.
Not bad.
I thought that pun was so beautifully done, but not really well delivered there, Banksy.
Terrible, eh?
All right, next one. We're going to skip through this a little bit. Caleb Van Ray gave us, now these are all in relation to a certain Cairns player that may have gone MIA a little bit. Caleb's gone with, I wish we knew Bill wasn't playing his first game. And we had John Fairs drum in. I don't have DJ Newbill, but how about DJ No Bill or DJ Show Bill? And we also had DJ Pooh Bill.
Yeah, this is one of my, juvenile Pooh Bill. But the reason I decided to put it in there was I saw Julian O'Brien, journalist in Illawarra, and he'd come out and said he called BS on DJ Pooh Bill, hence the BS, the Pooh, on that he was ever injured in the first game. You fellas are both owners. Do you think that it could have just been discipline reaction?
I think it was. Obviously, Bordy unfortunately had him starting. I had him on my bench. But I don't think we would have seen him putting shots up at the halftime break if he had a shoulder injury, and that was the reason for him sitting out.
Yeah, I'm a bit suspicious of it as well. I think it might have been something else that we're not told about, which is disappointing, I guess. Well, they're probably not going to let it out if it's some sort of disciplinary action or something anyway, I'm guessing. But it's disappointing for them not to tell us that he wasn't going to play the game because, it is semi-important if you're going to think like along the lines there's 5K possibly on the line down the stretch. So Banksy obviously had him on the bench, but still could, he's sitting pretty at the moment. So that could come down to causing him that sort of thing in the end.
And not only that, the Cairns Taipan social media team put out at halftime a tweet that suggested we still may see him in the second half, and he was listed as an active player. So I don't know that the whole Cairns organisation knew what was happening with his status either.
It's got to stink about it, fellas, I think.
Mm-hmm.
One of his teammates, we've got another one sent in by Jack Wilson. So I'll read this one out because I had him for Scotty Machado. Scotty Machine, though, because he was a machine.
Top scorer for the week.
Yes, yeah, got to give praise to the top scorer for the week. Thanks very much for Banksy to convince me to start LaMelo Ball over him, which is the last change I did to my team, which cost me a few points. But never mind. Now, which one of you fellas wants to do the DD part of the pun down, because there is plenty?
Go for a Banksy.
All right, so we had, I think it was Nathan Stremple. Happy to come on anytime, guys. That was in our Twitter messages, so hopefully we can get him on fairly soon. But he said, let me know. That said, the D disaster may have sent my fantasy season up Mitch Creek before it's even started.
Like it.
Yep, and we had Jack Wilson. DD, where's my star? We had...
Now, I got to stop you there, fellas. DD, where's my star? What's the pop culture reference? It took me a little while. What is that? Why is that a pun? What if I said, think of Ashton Kutcher?
Where's my car? I'm assuming you're moving with that.
Dude, where's my...
Dude, sweet. What's mine say? Yes, well done. So I didn't mind that in the end.
I like Joel's, though. Where did he go? He's nowhere. So a bit of a double pun there, Benny.
Love it. Love it. Double pun.
And
speaking
Justin
of dubs,
what's at JDub3332 said in, there's a good pun down in there for you at Basketball Blokes for round 1 or round 2 if ruled out again. Did he or didn't he play?
Not bad.
What's the answer to that question?
Game time decision.
He did not play once again. So let's talk about that for a minute. So in your schedulizer, fellas, were you planning on having DD starting on your field initially? Boydie, actually, this is only relevant to you because Banksy's got rid of him.
Not last week, not round 2, no, but round 3, definitely with Sydney on the double this week. I planned to have him on the court, which now brings a very big risk, obviously. So I'm not sure what I'm doing.
And Benny, the relevance for my team was I traded DD out just before lockout of round 1 to, funnily enough, VJ Newell, who was obviously out this week for the first game. So, interestingly, I think my idea was going to be similar to Boydie's, and I was planning on alternate Noi and DD through the first 7 rounds, where there was always going to be one on the double, except for round 1. So, it has put a real spanner in the works for those who were running with that DD/Noi structure as well.
And that's a nice little segue.
It's hard to think about, Noi's obviously the last week not so good. So, it's kind of a bit of a worry as to whether if you keep starting him or what. I mean, he had a 36, but that was based off 2 games. I wish, I guess, for a 250k we bought him at player, you can't really complain about that. But it would be nice if he was hitting those 50s like he did in that first round anyway. But yeah, so be it.
So, Banksy, where do you think you'd be sitting in the rankings, mate, if instead of going Newell, you did what I could have afforded if someone had to let me know that he was out, and got who I'm going to call Dre Sean Tate. So there's been some Draymond Green comparisons. I don't know. I saw it on Twitter, and I can't give it attribution. I had to look for it again. But right through his college career, he's been given Draymond Green comparisons, and Dre Sean Tate has been awesome. How good would it have been just to have fallen into Tate instead of going Newell? It would have been, such a big change to the rankings.
Huge, and not just that, you value to your team as well. I think, what has he scored? 2 40s on the trot, and then obviously Sydney's heading into a pretty good schedule from here onwards, where they've got, I think, 3 doubles over the next 4 rounds as well. So a massive difference for those who managed to pick him instead of Newell with DD out at the start of the comp.
I'd almost say kissed.
Yeah, I've read a couple of tweets out there that suggest that it was very last second, and there are people out there that went with him as a replacement for DD minutes before lockout.
Still only 10% owned in the comp, by the way, Sean Tate, or Dre Sean Tate, as you will. Nicholas K. Less?
No, I got one more. One more
Oh,
before
okay.
your boy. So along with Dre Sean Tate, there was another breakout player this round.
Better do a correct voice here, Benny.
I'm looking forward to this one.
Okay.
Do you want me to do it, or can you do the voice?
Let's all have a go. I'll go first. It's a me, Dario.
It's a me, Dario.
It's me, Dario.
Oh, you both smashed me. Well done.
Not bad, guys.
Okay, so Dario Hunt, look at me. That was an awesome performance by him, having dealt with foul trouble early on. And the person he outperformed is next on the pun list there. Boy,
yes, so that was Nick O. Less K. Those of us foolishly who brought Nick K in, or maybe not foolishly, let's see how that pans out. Will probably obviously unimpressed, but although Dario he scored a 28, so it wasn't a huge score, but still I think Nick K finished off with 35, which is no slouch game, I guess. But I guess imagine if you had him captain.
Let's hear about that story.
Mate, don't even get me started on that guy. If anyone ever deserved to be called an ordinary bloke, it's him.
And yes, it's me again, Boydie. It's me, Boydie. I am the ordinary bloke for the week again. I think I scored 398 after lockout now. Oh, sorry, now that's open. And look, I had a few things going on last week. I had an exam during the week and all sorts of stuff, and I thought I'd fixed up my team and done the right thing. I had my trades set. I had them planned out earlier on, and I had it all set up what I was going to do. And then I did reverse it a couple of times and made sure I could do what I was doing. And I think, what's happened if I've traded out Long, who was my captain round one, brought in K for him, not twigged that I needed to refresh my captains, and then I've gone with K as my captain.
Just to have done this is, it's an act of stupidity.
Thanks, Benny. I had a grand score of 70 from my captain for the week, so that's put me. Look, I'm about 100 behind you guys, so I'm still sitting in the top 1,000. So it's not game over. But definitely there's going to be some interesting moves coming up for the deep ballers in the next couple of weeks.
Those are pretty lucky 70 as well, I might add. I think Kay at halftime, had something like 3 offensive rebounds, no points, no assists, and a couple of steals. Some way he got himself to about a 21 at halftime without scoring or getting any assists. Yep. So I think it was a pretty lucky 70 in the end as well for you.
To be honest, I'd cracked it at halftime. I turned it off. I went to bed.
Yeah, I think you did.
I thought at the time my season was over after Newbull, and then Newbull in the first game on Friday night, and then Nick Kay being my captain and not having. I logged in just before logout and I got locked out. Unfortunately, I was going to change it. It was probably going to be Patterson it was going to be Patterson as captain. So look, it would have been an extra 35 points. So it's not the end of the world, but those little things do come back to haunt you sometimes. And that's all right. We'll live to fight another day. Interestingly enough, the experts league that I'm in with Tom Hurst, etc., their round is a round 3 start. So look, I'm starting from scratch this week. So
Banksy's got this special invite based on his performance last year to join this exclusive experts league, and clearly that's his priority at the moment. So look, no, in reality he's only 100 points behind, which makes a massive difference in the rankings, but a couple of good planning moves and stuff like that, he can be right back up there. But moving on to the ordinary bloke.
Mate, don't even get me started on that guy. If anyone ever deserved to be called an ordinary bloke, it's him.
Let's change that to the average bloke.
Mate, I don't think he's alright. Some of the things I've heard about this bloke, he is average at best.
That would be me, Benny. Now you've got that right, the average bloke for the week. So post adjustments, I went up to 449 points for the week. Remembering back, if you listened last week, I went Melbourne United heavy with 4 United guys. So I traded out Trimble and Long to Boone and Kay this week. So I was still carrying Mitch McCarron and JLA on my bench. So I was pretty happy to sort of finish up where I did, considering that. I think me and you, Benny, overall are pretty neck and neck considering the structure I went in with, a little bit different to yours. So I think I'm still ahead by 3 to 6 points post those adjustments overall. And look, for me, it was more of what could have been. Josh Boone scored 52 points in that first game. If he wasn't knocked out by Timmy Conrad in that second game, what could have been? I think I'm only roughly 60 points off the overall leader. So anything could have happened there if we saw Boone score that 50 or 60 points. I feel a little bit ripped off in that regard, but I'm sort of happy where I'm sitting overall with those United boys I had in round 1.
Plus Newbull as well. You missed out on Newbull getting sort of a 30 in that first game too. So wouldn't have taken much for you to be up there, maybe.
That's it. Long way to go, though, boys.
Yeah, look, I thought your strategy probably proved to be right, and you were just very stiff in the end. But without further ado,
now we're talking, mate. You've hit the nail on the head. That guy is a top bloke.
And the top bloke of the week is me and Benny.
So there's no surprise there.
So look. Now, some people may be accusing me of being in charge of these buttons, but never mind. Look, I was really disappointed with my week, but to be honest, I avoided a lot of the donuts. I can't really complain compared to what you guys did. It was just Hodgson was my main gripe, I guess. That decision, initially I could have done Boone and Cotton, and that would have been looking really good, but went against Bryce Cotton and Boone, and I have to, at the moment, I'm looking at playing Hodgson on a single, which really, really sounds yuck this week. So no doubt I'll have a think about that and talk about something on the preview show, which we'll have out soon enough, fellas. So that's around the grounds down now. So I'll just play the little intro if I can find it for our league. And I can't see it. That's okay. So which one of you fellas wants to do the league shout out?
Yeah, I can do the league shout out. So we've got our league code as always, JY2DWM. Nice tongue twister there. And I think we've got 20 teams in our league sitting in the top 100 at the moment, with 3 in the top 10. Currently, the person who's leading the league overall is in our league. That's our DDPV team name, and it's Daniel Della Primavera. So he's sitting on 1,075 points. So well done there, Daniel. Also got a lethal. Oh, sorry, what have we got here? These things have changed from our overalls, by the way. Lethal's Legends, you're right. Lethal's Legends are in there. So that's Lee Cox. He's sitting 4th overall at the moment and in our league. And then I think we've got the Carnage squad as well sitting in there, who's 3rd in our league and sitting currently in 5th overall as well. So awesome work for those 3 teams in particular. But to have 20 teams in our league sitting in the top 100 is awesome. I think you guys are included in that list. Or maybe, yes, is that right?
Yes. Yep.
So well done, boys, and hopefully I will be climbing up that ladder shortly.
All right. It looks like we may have lost Banksy Boyd.
No, what's happened here?
Yeah, but look, we'll just carry on, mate. Because
keep it going.
We'll keep rolling. So this is something that I wanted to touch on. We already mentioned we had a message from Nathan Stremple and his team Stremple Studs. What we want to hype is the Redditch Santa Maria Cup, and it's it appears as though this week Santa's little helpers, Liam Santa Maria, has taken back the ascendancy of his own trophy on 940 points, and 10 points behind we've got Nathan Stremple. So only 10 points in between them. It is NBL overtime versus the basketball show. It's on like Donkey Kong, mate.
It is, and now we've got, obviously, with Banksy talked about it before, we've got Nathan Stremple. We might be trying to get him on in the next couple of weeks or something as well to talk about fantasy. So, we'll have both of them that have possibly appeared on our show in the last, for season 19-20 of the NBL. So it's all happening.
And I guess, just we don't have any allegiance, of course. We've obviously enjoyed our interactions with Liam, but we've got Emma Turner, who's working on the basketball show at the moment, who we met in Albury, lovely lady. Yep. And so, we've got no allegiances here, so it's going to be interesting to track. So, get in contact with them and let them know that they're going head-to-head. And it's for the pride of their respective shows. So, did you do any good in game day this week, mate? I didn't see any of our regulars up there either. I sucked.
No, there was one. There's one day where I scored. I did quite well. I think it might have been Saturday, maybe last week. I was ranked in the top 10 or 20 on one of the days. Sunday maybe. 17th in the top on Sunday. So I was pretty happy with my team that day. But for those of you out there that are a bit confused what we're talking about, there is a game day comp this year where you enter each day of the round, put your team in for the teams that are playing that day, and there's no salary cap and all that sort of stuff. And there's prizes to be won if you finish overall for the week and finish on top each day. Is that right, Benny?
Correct, mate. $25 vouchers.
That's it. So $25 vouchers will go good to get you a nice discounted first ever official NBL jersey for your selected team. So get out there and have a crack at game day.
right.
Next.
Let's roll.
What a king legend.
Still makes me smile that and laugh.
I don't know what you're talking about. There's nothing inappropriate about that at all. So, King Legend voting, Scotty Machado outdoing Mitch Creek this
Just.
week. So,
Yep.
just. So,
Mhm.
very good result for Scotty and someone
Scotty
I may
Machado
be
had the
giving
extra game, obviously, but yeah.
Yep, did well. And finally, if I can play this little ditty.
If I
The Holt Award, who was for the player who is halting your progress up the rankings, and no surprise, mate, once again, it is Didi Lazada. We have spent a heap of time on Didi Lazada. There is no need to spend any more time without getting really angry. So why don't you wrap the socials, mate? And
well, that's I was just going to say the other ones in the player regrets there. We've all got them. So we've got Didi Lazada, then Kuat Noy, and then Matty Hodgson. So us three basketball blokes have all got some combination of those three blokes. So obviously could have done a lot better if they weren't in our sides. Yes, as you mentioned, we are on the socials. So we're at Facebook, just basketball space blokes. And on Twitter, which is our handle is at BBall_Blokes. And I think that just about wraps it up for the review show. Check our preview show out for round 3. Will coming out in the next couple of days. Cheers.